Namaste. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here with me. It's late in the day. I appreciate you coming before dinner. My name is Tara Wolckenhauer, and I'm the Vice President of Global HR Strategy for ADP. And with that, I get to work with a wonderful visionary CHRO, a brilliant HR leadership team that spans the globe, and just extraordinary HR associates that deliver solutions to our business and our associates every day. So today I'm going to talk to you about one view and one experience, how ADP transformed itself internally to support the external needs of our clients. So all good stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And today I'm going to go from the beginning to the middle and talk about how we see HR transforming. To me, there's no end to this story. It just continues to evolve. And so if we look at how HR has been perceived over time, it started primarily to satisfy the administrative needs of the associates and the business. I am the daughter of a retired HR professional. And when I sit at the dinner table and I talk to my father about what's the difference between HR then and now, and you strip it down to its simplest form, there really isn't much of a difference. We are both concerned about the human, the talent, the type of work, and how we secure that work and that talent for the future. So we can talk about the evolution of HR from personnel to HR management and now strategic HR, but ultimately we're talking about servitude to humans to help them do the work that showcases their talent and builds the future for a company. You know, some of the ways we see this strategic HR taking effect is in some of the improvements we've had, right? We've gone from manual to digital, restricted to mobile, transactional to strategic, and inaccurate to precise. But again, I want you to think about two things. HR back in the 1970s and HR today was still after the same thing. How do I make the experience good for humans? I was talking to my team earlier today, and I think a lot that we've evolved like medicine has evolved. There were wonderful doctors in the past. They had wisdom. They cured people. And they did it without technology. It's unbelievable if you think about that in today's society with all of the investment, all of the technology, all of the ways we can diagnose and cure. So if you look at HR, we hired wonderful talent in the 70s that did wonderful things in an organization, and they did it without technology. How is that possible? And why now today the push to digital? Digitization, technology solutions. And the answer is simple. It's because we can. The world has evolved. As it has evolved for medicine, I can diagnose the right talent for the right job, for the right work to advance the company because technology gave me that opportunity. How wonderful. So the ADP story, why you all came. So about 5 years ago, I talked about how we had a visionary CHRO. He joined ADP and he said, I'd like to understand what type of HR environment I'm walking into. Not only who they were and what they did and what talents they brought to the table, but what is the right HR for ADP? I implore all of you in the audience to think about HR in a very different way. HR needs to fit the needs of your company and your business. What works for ADP may not work for you. But I hope you'll leave today thinking about things a little bit differently and trying some of the things we did based on the learnings we had in 2013. And so what were those learnings? We needed to become more globally focused. We needed to have team strength. We needed to show process ownership and organizational readiness. And ultimately, we brought in a third party and we asked them to tell us how we compared to our peers. And what we learned is we're a pretty good HR team, doing a pretty good job in an awesome business. And so the question becomes, do we want to get better? Do we want to be world class? Do we want to utilize the tools of the future? Do we want to set the tone, or do we want to drive what we're doing today? And so a team of brilliant minds came together and said, here's what we'd like to do. We'd like to look at our technology. Like many of you, I'm sure, we got very excited with technology. And back in 2013, my dear colleague tells me we had 576 systems and applications. The best, the brightest. How am I going to manage 576 applications and systems? That's nearly impossible. So there was an effort to streamline. And when you look at transformation and when you look at innovation, look at simplicity. The hardest thing to do in life is to make things simple. And so you want to have your technology solutions made simple. We talked about being global, not a domestic company doing business in other parts of the world. We talked about being global. So how do we come together? How do we functionalize? How do we bring people together to really support the needs of our business throughout the world? And how do we learn from each other? Right? And it was stuff like that that allowed us to have progress like this. So in 2016, you saw we made improvements from our standards. We weren't improving to improve a survey. We were improving to meet the needs of our business, right? And so we decided if we put these things in place, we might just see great improvement, and we did. We saw improvement in efficiency as well as effectiveness. And while the industry told us we were more effective and more efficient, what mattered most to us was that the business told us we were more effective and more efficient. The associates told us we were more effective and efficient. And the talent wanted to be a part of this effective and efficient organization. And that is important. So we adopted a pay-for-performance culture. Many of you know pay-performance, accountability, recognizing the top talent, taking care of the majority that sit in the middle of the talent spectrum, and then ending our relationship with those people who just don't currently today suit the needs of the business. They're still great. They still bring skills. But we need to look at who do we need to do what job. Remember what I told you in the beginning about the talent, about the work, right place, right time. We looked at our location strategy. So I heard the wonderful lecture before about the world not being a whole work from home world. I agree, 100%. And for ADP, it's really important for us to come together in the delivery of services for our clients, to learn from each other, to be part of something, to have one experience, to win as one in the marketplace, and to be a more human resources. So we started to adopt how do we come together and where do we come together across the world to make sure we were getting the right talent. In HR, I will admit, we didn't talk a lot to each other. So when people studied us, we were always going outside saying, what's the latest and greatest, best technology? What do you know about digitization? How are you doing this, right? We had an opportunity to talk to the experts that work at ADP. If you're a human capital management company, you should have the best internal HR people within the company. And why wouldn't you take their ideas, solutions, and make it technology, do the advancements internally? And so something like our global HR jam sessions allowed us to have a voice throughout the world, to share ideas, to form relationships. We have a yearly global HR summit, whether it be live or virtual, we come together. We share those ideas and we use technology to do it. If you talk about an advancement in technology that I may love most, is my ability to call somebody through video, see their face, feel their reactions. And I know at a tech conference you're saying, man, that happened a long time ago. How we use that technology today is the advancement. By the way, the secret to all of this is much of this happened a long time ago. We live in a world where everything is socialized. You know everything now. My dad was very successful. He had none of it. He had no technology. Why? How do you reconcile that? You use the technology to aid in the advancement. The technology is not the advancement. And we need to remember that. Effortless client experience days. How are we doing? We go out and we ask our clients. So how did that go? How would you rate us? Where could we be better? What else do you need from us? We're not afraid anymore. We don't sit behind the scenes, right? We go out to our clients and we ask proactively, what do you need? How did I do? And then we're aligning our HR senior leadership reporting structure, right? So bringing things together. We're no longer an India HR team, a New Jersey HR team, a small business HR team, because we span all the markets. We are one HR team with one experience, going after a win as one strategy that again makes us a human resource company. Talked about this a little bit. Our win as one culture goes after things like simplifying things. Again, transformation is about making complexity simple. The technology and the wonderful solutions all of you and your companies bring, and all of the wonderful people outside and vendors outside bring, help with those solutions. You know, we are transparent in our communications. At one time, we were only communicating on certain channels. Today, we are using technology to enable the communication across HR, and we are connecting the senior leadership team. When you're in a human capital management company that spans all the markets, right? Small business, mid-market, up-market, and then your national, global, multinational corporations, you have a lot of different priorities, right? We're trying to connect, leverage, learn, grow. To make sure people understand why this technology won't work here but could work here, and how do you put that whole structure together. Incredibly complex to then streamline it to our associates and say, this is what we're doing. And HR is focused on that message. HR is focused on enhancing that message. So that's our story is complex, but our story is about simplification. We asked people how we were doing. We asked a third party how we were doing. We decided for ourselves who we need to be. We streamlined our technology. We put in some new technology, and we continued to transform our technology. We added a people analytics and insights organization. We no longer just take data and hand a turnover report. We actually take data, clean data, govern data. If you know anything about ADP, we have so much data. Now we have the power to share it through our systems, through the right talent, through meaningful work, and we are making a difference with the business. So, I told you at the beginning, the middle, and where we see the world going is, again, this new digital world, right? It's empowering HR. I implore you as HR professionals and those of you in HR technology, it's not replacing anything. It's enhancing everything. Even people, we deal with the fear factor. Will I lose my job because the robots are coming? The robots came. Nobody even realized it. They already came. Back when we started IVRU, right? Now we live in a day where everybody knows what a robot is. Every article you receive is about the bots coming, right? They're here. They've been here. And you're still here. Humans are not going away, not in my lifetime at least, right? They're not going away. So how do we empower people to understand that technology is the enhancement so they can do the work? I was moved by a session I had while I was in India this week that talked to us about what inspires future generations is the type of work they're going to do. And if that's true, then I would say, why wouldn't you let technology replace the work you don't want to do? Why wouldn't you? ADP has a research institute. They take a lot of that data I talked about with you, and it really talks about, you can read through some of the detail here, but we're always studying to understand more. What about the workforce, what people want. And there's no doubt about it. People want to live in a digital age. They want everything on their mobile phone. We want to be quick. I want to process performance reviews like this. And that's fantastic. So we know that that's happening. What the power of data allows us to do, and the strategy behind that power and the technology innovations that go with it, it allows us to predict in a meaningful way. Back to the doctor example, diagnose and put in a plan, right? And our research institute helps us understand specifically what happens with that plan. So we know the trends. They're probably no different than you've heard in the past, and people want to work from anywhere and everywhere. People want flexibility in their day. Depending on who I'm talking to, that trend will be very different. I always talk about ADP is a flexible work company, right? We're not after working from home. In fact, if you ask me, and it's just my humble opinion, working from home is not flexible in and of itself. If I say you're going to go work from home and you don't want to work from home, how am I creating flexibility for you, right? What we say is, based on the digitization of HR and all the upcoming technology and tools, is tell us how you want to work. And we'll tell you if we have that work for you. And then you may or may not be the talent for our organization, because we believe in coming together. We believe in servicing a client from a full perspective. We want to meet the trend, but we'll meet the trend that works for our business and for our talent and for our organization. So ADP is adapting to the digital world through the cloud. We have a lot of cloud solutions through our mobility, our social, and our analytics. This is where it's at for us, okay? And we are hiring the right talent to help us do this. Again, tech-enabled. We globalized our technology through talent management systems, through employee recognition, huge in our organization. So when you look at how we evolved through technologies, now we recognize associates across the globe in a very meaningful way, and we found the power of thank you. Meeting the future needs of the business, again, going just from a data extraction functionality to a insights and predictive analytics solution, right? Telling you through strategic workforce planning, which I'm going to skip ahead, through strategic workforce planning, what talent you're going to need in the next 3 years to achieve that business goal. Because if you can't stand in front of the business today and tell them how you are going to help them deliver upon their strategic plan, no technology is going to help you. No computer is going to figure that out for you. You must consult. You must research. You must define. You must diagnose so that you can plan. And strategic workforce is the next place and the way we're going to go after that. Again, you can read through how we're doing that, but I'll leave you with, we're taking action. I stand in front of my clients today. Again, I look at their strategy, and we try to predict the number of people you'll need, where you're going to need them, where I'm going to get them, how am I going to find them. I think you all know there's more technology jobs than we possibly have time for. Thank you for having me. Dhanyawad. It's been a pleasure.